Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and thank those of you who are returning for this week's energy update. I fully intended to drop a video yesterday and I do believe it was the Saturn pivoting. Saturn is going to go from retrograde to direct this week on Friday, meaning whenever a planet changes signs, the energy is amplified. And so Saturn's amplification of energy is really, it's amplified constriction, and I ended up with a migraine headache, literally writing out some notes before I could sit down and produce the video, and I had a segment of my vision just disappear from sight, which is my clue that I need to take my medication and go to bed, which is exactly what I did. So thank you so much for your patience with me today. I want to make sure when I am channeling energy, I'm doing so with proper neurological functioning. So today, this morning is when I wanted to get this video out to you. So thank you so much again with for your patience, certainly with me at this time. At the time when Saturn goes direct, we are going to have an opposition between Mercury and Uranus. So there's a lot of opposition this week, a lot. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And the best use and the best way to manage oppositional energy. But before we do that, let's talk about just November in general. I'm happy to see that as we move into November, the square between the nodal axis and planet Pluto is going to decrease. And so our choice points have been made. The purpose of that that square configuration was to help us understand three-dimensional energy, five-dimensional energy, our choices, and how we can move closer to our North Node and let go of the things we need to let go of through choice points and the changing of our reality. So we've been down that road. Now that square is beginning to dissipate a little bit, and we can really start to make those choices surrounding ourselves in five-dimensional energy and continuing to ascend closer to our North Node. It had a lot to do with power dynamics because it is Pluto here, as well as transformation, right? Pluto-Scorpio energy, which we're in right now, is very interesting. With that said, we've also, this week and in the next probably 10 days to 2 weeks, we just had a full moon, partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, which closed out that nodal axis cycle that we've just witnessed for the past 18 months that shifted back in July. And we are going to be shown some of that energy this week as relative to oppositions between planets in Scorpio and planets in Taurus, so that we can really take that five-dimensional understanding versus three-dimensional understanding and choice points that we learned during the nodal axis squaring Pluto, and now apply those to the situations at hand this week, next week, and the following week. So we've got the dissipation of that square between Pluto and the nodal axis cycle, which is going to relieve a bit of a burden that we've been feeling for quite some time, and then we're going to be asked for practical application of the three-dimensional energy versus five-dimensional energy, how you resonate, and where you want to be based on choice points. So we're going to be able to provide some practical application for lessons learned, that is for sure. And as well, as I mentioned, first there were some oppositions with Jupiter, right? So Mercury and Mars have already had their opposition with Jupiter, and now we are going to begin to see aside from the Sun and Jupiter, but we're going to see some oppositions with Uranus, which is game-changing. And the biggie that we're leading up to is November 11th through the 14th. We've got an opposition, very strong opposition between Mars and Uranus. Mars in the sign of Scorpio is extremely strong. That is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So please, let's focus on five-dimensional understanding of Scorpio energy. Let's stay away from the manipulation and control tactics, using using strategic measures, which can be three-dimensional energy, and make sure that we're being strategic for the purpose of transformation, rising like the phoenix out of the ashes, taking our lessons and flying, so to speak. Eagle's perch. Eagle is another symbol of Scorpio energy. Find that eagle's perch and watch how things unfold, but make sure your choice points resonate with that five-dimensional energy. And we're going to talk more. We do have several oppositions this week. We'll talk more about oppositional energy, but first what I'd like to talk about is on tomorrow, Tuesday, we have Venus in a beautiful trine. Venus is in Virgo, and it's a beautiful trine to Uranus in Taurus. And this energy, I would like, if you can, when you start to feel this energy, I would like for you to try to resonate with this energy over the course of the week if you possibly can. It definitely is going to provide a reprieve for all the oppositional energy, and it is very hopeful energy. I love this energy. It's asking us to be practical. So again, that practical application of energies, especially as we enter the seesaw time of polarity, but it's asking us also to celebrate our uniqueness. Make choices based on your uniqueness. Celebrate you. Celebrate you. I love that. I really, really, really do love that. Now let's talk about oppositional energy and a very good use of goodness gracious, oppositional energy management. So it does require diplomacy and balance. Whenever there's a polarity, it's a push-pull of energy. This side is more strong than this side, then this side, then this side, then this side, then this side. What I like to do is to find out, sit with the energy of the polarity, both sides, and which side do I resonate with? Well, maybe I need to lean into the opposite so I can gain a better understanding and therein find the common ground. I think the universe is trying to send us a message here with all the polarity. How can we use this advantage to create unison, even in opposition? For example, if I respect another's choice, regardless of the level of opposition I have with those choices. If I respect that person's choices, and in turn, that person respects my choices, we have commonality. We have unity consciousness because we found the common thread within the opposition. Okay? Think about that this week and definitely sit with that. Because as we deal with the opposing energies, any commonality that you can find is going to diffuse the polarity. We don't want to focus on the polarity. We want to focus on the commonality. Okay? Be practical and reduce the loss of balance. If you find yourself kind of slipping off, just keep balanced as best you can. I wore this shirt for purpose today. I did receive this as a gift from my son for my birthday, and he relocated, as you may know from previous videos, from the island of Maui shortly after the disaster that occurred in Lahaina, and has now moved to Kauai. He loves surfing. He surfs all the time. Surf requires balance. And surf is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. I wore this shirt to remind myself I need to be like a surfer today. I've got to balance it out. I've got to make sure I'm on an even keel. I might tip a little bit this way or tip a little bit that way, but I want to ride the wave. I want to ride it. I want to see how this wave shapes up for me. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. Then on Friday, as I mentioned, we've got the Sun in Scorpio is going to oppose Jupiter. This is the last of the biggies for opposition with the sign of Jupiter. Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus. The Sun is in the sign of Scorpio. The Sun is closing in on Mars, and we'll continue to do that over the course of this week, and then Mars is going to disappear into the Sun later into the month, which is also very, very, very interesting, instigating another 2-year cycle for us. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The sun is closing in on Mars, which is going to give us that extra burst of energy. Mars is definitely aggressive, especially in the sign of Scorpio. It's very strong. So it's going to give us the highly charged activation, if you will, for transformation, especially on this day. And seeking of truth, if somebody's trying to BS their way through something, you're going to see right through it. And with the magnified, which is the Jupiter, that Taurian energy, and Jupiter's working with that, it's very stable energy, that's for sure. This could be quite a seesaw, if you could imagine, until balance is achieved. Again, picture yourself on that surfboard trying to navigate two very opposing energies. And truly think about, what do you need to lean into as part of that polar balance, polarity balance? What do you need to lean into in order to maintain stability and or transformation? Are you more of a transformative person? Then let's lean a little bit more into the stability side. If you're fixed on stability and it's all you've got and you're going to hold on to it, maybe it's time to step into a little bit of transformation. I'll let you decide what works best for you. Then on the 3rd and the 4th of this week, here comes Venus in Virgo is going to oppose Neptune, which is in retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And boy, this is very foggy energy. It is very foggy energy. It's going to be very difficult for us to discern, to understand the truth. Do your best to use discernment here, because Venus is in the sign of Virgo. It's all about discernment. If you can tap into that. This energy also promotes giving a lot but not getting a lot back. Again, polarity. So it may be time for you to step back a little bit. I also got very strong hits to gaslighting here. People doing things that are rather aggressive, or people doing things and then completely making you believe that it never happened, or that really wasn't their reality. And boy, oh boy, you can see right through that. There's no doubt there. But Neptune is keeping us in the fog a little bit. Little hard to tell what's right, what's wrong, and that can be kind of challenging. Then on the 4th, I mentioned that Saturn's going to go direct, but also we have an opposition here between Mercury and Scorpio is going to be opposing Uranus, which is in the sign of Taurus. And that 3D energy, Scorpio energy, can be extremely manipulative and controlling. Just be mindful of how you process information now, because this is communications, information that is coming up out of the blue, pops up out of nowhere, and really takes you by surprise. And that element of surprise is going to be kind of what throws you off kilter. Remember, balance is key here. You want to be strategic but mindful. Strategic, but not for the purpose of taking them down. I've got Scorpio in me. I understand how that works. So you want to be strategic but mindful. And what I like about this energy is this is sudden insight as well. As much as it could be some communications that come into you that kind of really throw you for a loop here, or undermines something, or just completely transforms your idea of something, but it could also be very manipulative communication that throws you for a loop. This can be sudden insights. Because Uranus is all about innovation. Uranus is all about sovereignty. Uranus is all about breaking free and freedom. This could be sudden insight that comes into you that allows you to break free, find sovereignty. So even though it's a polarity, there is good use of this energy. Again, remain balanced as best you can. And as I mentioned, Saturn is going to go direct. So you may have, depending on where Saturn sits in your sky, what house that Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, you probably have seen a stall that had occurred back in June. I like to think of Saturn transits, especially where Saturn is flipping, to think of, or Saturn is going retrograde, that you're in a classroom and the teacher gives you the syllabus and walks out and says that you're on your own. And they're not there to be like, hey, today's the day, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. You're kind of on your own. And now with Saturn going direct, that teacher's coming back in the classroom to check and see if you really have applied all the energy you needed to fulfill the obligations of that syllabus. So there could be some reality checks here, some disappointment. Just be mindful when Saturn changes directions like that, because there's going to be amplified constriction, but it's there for purpose. That is for sure. And in discipline is going to come in too. There's going to be a lot of discipline, and depending on how that retrograde cycle worked for you, how that pivot worked, what work you were able to conclude going within and looking at it. That's really going to help as we move forward here. Scorpio definitely sees the truth. If you're not getting the truth of a situation, especially with Mercury being in Scorpio and that opposition with Uranus, you're going to be able to break free from past concepts, past understandings, and that will definitely help you evolve. And that Saturn direct is going to give us the discipline. And then you've got this Uranian energy, certainly not relative to Saturn, but the Uranian energy that's swirling around us this week, mostly in opposition to a lot of the Scorpion energy. But that undertone is asking us to seek freedom and sovereignty, and to rid ourselves of the things that we want to transform. Mars is getting stronger. Mars allows us to cut things right out. So, okay, that's all I've got. Be kind to yourself here. Be kind to yourself. Observation is key. Climb out of that eagle's perch. That's another Scorpio theme that we spoke about. With this oppositional energy, be as balanced as you can be. Be that surfer. Saturn's pivot combined with all of this oppositional energy certainly adds a heaviness to this week, because Saturn is a taskmaster. That's part of this. And those reality checks can be tough. Let's tap into the Scorpio energy of transformation, strategic transformation to create healthy outlets and creativity. Whenever Neptune's involved here, there are good days for creative abilities. And I also think that Venus in Virgo trine Uranus and Taurus is going to help us a little bit with some of that too. But definitely the Neptune energy, even though it's an opposition to Venus, if we can find a creative outlet for that energy, that's certainly accentuated as well. Early next week, Venus is going to trine Pluto. I love this energy. So let's get through these oppositions of this week. I know Mars is going to be building. We're building up to a crescendo of Mars versus or opposing Uranus, so that can be pretty intense energy. But before we get there, next week we've got this Venus trining Pluto, which I love, and Venus being one of the rulers of, Venus being a Venus trining Pluto and changing signs to one of the home signs of Libra, because Venus is going to go into Libra also next week. That's going to give us some more balance too, right? Venus is going to balance things out for us. So we can tap into that a little bit if we need to. In the meantime, if you find that things are getting a bit overwhelming, just step away from the negativity and polarity. I think that would be a very good use of the energy. Find the common ground. Remember, if I respect you and you respect me, the commonality is that it's mutual respect and adoration. So I used the Keepers of the Light card. We are going long here. The Keepers of the Light deck, because I wanted to bring in an Angel Oracle card to give us some help on a lot of the polarity that is occurring, as well as the just crazy, tragic, very upsetting circumstances that are occurring on the world stage. So the card that jumped out was Commander. Oh boy, I hope you can see that okay. Commander Ashtar. Okay, Commander Ashtar. Call to action. Ashtar, also known as Commander Ashtar is a multidimensional being who promotes truth, peace, and harmony between the planets. He is said to be an extraterrestrial, but appears in human form so that he can communicate at heart level with all of those on Earth who call on him. He is part of a congregation of light beings who work to bring healing to the world and is a wonderful guide to those who are feeling the call to bring positivity, healing, and inspiration to those around them. He lifts up the hearts of leaders and inspires them to walk their path with complete integrity. The extended message continues. You are receiving a call to action and being asked to step up and create the changes you want to see in the world. Divine inspiration is all around you, and Ashtar and his legion of cosmic angels are standing by to offer you loving support. Know that you are being encouraged to be honest, assertive, and true in a loving way. You may feel your ego trying to hold you back, but know that when you take the first step, the next one will soon follow. Take some time to connect with the universe by looking up at the stars, knowing that there are loving beings of light gazing back down at you. You are not alone. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting my channel today. It's always a better day with you in that. If you like this video, please do click the like button. If you want to know when videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button. Any comments or suggestions, please post them in the comment section below. And if you know someone that could be helped by this video, please do co-create with me and share it with them. I hope you have a fabulous week of riding the surfboard on this beautiful wave that is consciousness. Namaste.